Hello again. My name is Deborah Martin, and I am here to share some stories of my healings and reading sessions that I am so grateful that people send me the validations after they've had a session with me. Now, I became a healer through one of my near-death experiences, and God gave me the gift of healing. So I'm here to share and voice the healings that God has done through me as his instrument and vessel. And so today I have 4 different ones to share with you. And each and every one of my sessions are always different, not one is the same. And that's because each one of you are different, not one of you are the same. So they're going to be different because I'm going to go back to maybe a root cause of something that you dealt with when you were a child. And only God would have known these things. And what I say for you, these words that come through for you, would not resonate with another person. They're meant just for you. So what I'm doing is I'm becoming your proxy. I don't want to know anything that's wrong with you. You just send me your picture, and I'm able to see, hear, feel, and voice what it is that you're dealing with, what we need to heal, the root cause of the issue, and release it and surrender it. Now, I will say there have been healings that they didn't heal in the way that I had wished for. And that's when I realized I'm not the one in control. So healings come in different forms. Sometimes they'll come in different ways than what you thought that you needed or that you wanted. And so just be open if you have a healing session with me or anyone else to everything, because it's limitless. Open yourself, your mind, body, and soul to receive everything that is there for you to tap into. And so when I talk about tapping into, what I'm doing is tapping into a frequency that I call God's. You may call it divine, you may call it love, you may call it the universe, but it is all love and it is all the same. So let me share with you a few of my stories here. When I do a session, I'm speaking the entire time. I'm recording the session as you are in your sacred space. So I do healings remotely for all over the world. And so you're relaxing and receiving in your space. You won't feel any pain. You might feel emotional. You might feel energy moving. You might feel cool and hotness. You might feel emotional where you want to cry. You might feel nothing at all. There is no right or wrong way to receive a healing. But words, the words, I always say, try not to analyze the words as they're coming through, just become one with them. But they carry a frequency. They carry the energy of wow, how would she have known that? So this one is about the words. It says, "Hi, Deborah. Thank you for doing this session on my behalf. I know you had to expend a great deal of energy and endure a lot of discomfort. For that, I'm very appreciative and grateful. It was not easy for you, but it did benefit me. When I heard the first minutes of the recording, you mentioned the word hope. That had been prominent in your consciousness. I could have stopped the recording at that point and received immense benefit from just hearing the word only, hope. For me, that word is the most meaningful word I can think of at this point in my life. I was meditating at the same time you were doing the session. And that's what's interesting. Some people will meditate, some people might sleep, some people might be on a different time zone, they might be working, they might be wanting to take a hike, they might want to be sitting outside, wherever you find your sacred space. And if you are working and you or sleeping at the time of the session because of the time zone change, the frequency and words will hold for you for when you listen to it. It all activates. So it's going to hold, start activating as you are sleeping and working, and then just ignite when you listen to it. So as he listened then to the recording, so he was meditating while the session was taking place, but then when he listened to the recording, and you mentioned that I would be crying, he said, I started to cry 15 seconds before I said that. That's what's so amazing, is they're feeling what I'm feeling at the same time. In my book, Proof of Miracles, I share with you, I share with you a story about Brenda. And Brenda, in her session, I was feeling like I had to like throw up. I felt bile. Well, I didn't know what was happening on her end, but on her end, she was actually throwing up the bile. So we were in sync. It's more than we can humanly understand, but it's so incredible. And it says, amazing. You were also dealing with some physical areas that are issues for my right eye, my lower back, and my neck. There is no questions. You identified areas that needed help. Again, I'm immensely grateful for your focus, your energy, and your unique abilities, and how you applied them to me. It was a very humbling experience. And as much as he is in awe that I'm able to touch and see everything that he's dealing with, I am just as much as in awe, because remember, it's not me that is doing it. God is working through me, and I'm trusting what I'm seeing, feeling, and hearing. And when he said, you know, I feel so bad for the pain that you may have to endure, sometimes I have to go through pain in order for me to know where it is in my body. And it can be painful, but I know that this is something that I have to go through for them. But when the session's over, I no longer feel it. I'm already getting like energy changes as I'm speaking to you. Here's another one. This is interesting. This is about a couple. This couple needed a healing, you know, for their relationship to become stronger. They were struggling. And so what I did is I wanted to do them individually in the session, you know, give them what they each needed, but then also combine them together as one. So this is what they say. Wow, Debra, I cannot express how grateful I am to you and to God for this miraculous healing session. It's incredible that just today, my left hip started acting up where it gets binded and I can't walk. But you touched upon that, and I felt the major healing being lifted from my left buttocks. My husband, he suffered for over 30 years. Oh my gosh, we are grateful that God healed this old injury for him. He had a left arm problem, and I remember feeling this arm problem all the way to the elbow and up, and I said that it had popped. Well, he had broke his right elbow and his wrist 2 years ago. I remember mentioning that, and she writes, you mentioned it because you felt the pain in both of these areas being worked on. And I did. I remember it hurting so bad, going, oh my gosh. But I also was told that it was from a prior accident. So not only am I looking at the body of what's going on now, I'm going to go to past issues so that you don't get arthritis from it, or that it doesn't bring any issues up for you later. So I work on that, but also it might be something that's traumatic within you that you forgot about, even that happened as a child, that we need to go and pull that up. But she continues, he also has shin and feet problems, like you mentioned, those parts being healed and cleared. So they talked about their couple, about moving forward, listening to the recording again and again and again, they do together. And it's allowing them to move forward together as a loving couple. It seems to have taken a lot of my husband's pain that he has endured for the last 29 years that we've had together, that we both have taken on. But I believe we have been freed of this, and our future is bright and light. I felt your love, and I love you for taking on our pain and transforming it so we can be free again. That was amazing. And what's interesting is I also saw an animal sitting. I wasn't sure if it was like a spiritual animal that they lost or if it was a physical animal. And I kept seeing it sitting by her. And she goes, P.S. By the way, my cat was sitting on my waist at the time of the healing session, your time. How wonderful is that? That I was sensing what was happening on her end, but I really wasn't sure. So I had to voice it exactly how I was feeling it, even if it didn't make sense to me. So many of us struggle from anxiety or fear. You know, we have fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen, anxiety, just anxiety of maybe something that's transpiring in our life, or maybe we just have anxiety all the time that we don't know how to heal. So this one was on anxiety, and it says, "Hi, Debra. You've given me the gift of waking up. I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of fear, afraid of hurt, of rejection, anxiety. I have everything I need right here with me right now. I don't want anything else. The freedom to be who I am is the greatest treasure of all." So he received the peace of knowing that there was nothing to fear. And that's what I say to you, to all of you listening. When we have fear or we have anxiety of something unknown, an unknown circumstance, that how's it going to turn out, or if I have an illness, what's my report going to come back as? Place that in God's hands, release it, surrender it, just say, I no longer want this. And allow God to take control over it for you. And see how much more peace you will have from that, where it just releases you from thinking and worrying about it, knowing that either way, you will get through this and you'll be able to walk through it with more ease, with more comfort, with more peace. And my final one that I'm going to share with you today is this is what this person felt during her session. So let me just read it to you. Hi, Debra. I'm so grateful for your gifts and the way you facilitate healing. I felt a lot of the same sensations that you described during your healing. When you said that you lifted your head to release the energy from my head, my pain, I literally felt the need to lift my head and open my neck. See how I'm saying, like, they're feeling the same thing, but then when she is able to listen to it, she's like, oh my gosh, I did that. I've been dealing with hormonal imbalance and both breasts are tender almost all the time these days. It's so interesting that you felt that. The weight in my chest was heavy. I could feel it. I'm heartbroken for sure. You kept talking about this tightness in your stomach. Well, I carry all my stress in my stomach and struggle with stomach issues. I need to re-listen to God's message. It was so loving and powerful. I was crying through most of it. So what happens here is sometimes we have to feel to heal. And I had to go to a deep-rooted issue that had to do with shame. And to keep this more private, I won't express any more. But when we take on somebody else's shame, we don't realize maybe that shame that they're putting on us came from them in a form that something happened in their lives. And so we don't understand it, nor can we judge them for it. But if we forgive them for it and we don't hold on to that shame, it releases us, it frees us, and it lets us walk forward without holding on to it. She also talks about how she felt the tickling all over her hands, and that she mentioned that she was freezing. I was freezing in this session. I can remember that. I was just like so cold, and it's warm in Arizona. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so cold. I'm freezing. I feel like I need blankets. And she said that she felt the same way. And she says, thank you for your gifts. And she's beyond grateful. So like I say, I'm feeling like Spirit's touching my face. I feel like I just want to scratch it. they're just lightly touching me to let me know that, they're here, they're part of our everyday with us. And just know you're never alone. You can speak to them, whether you speak to them in your mind or out loud. And the possibilities are limitless when it comes to healing. So, what I would like to express to you, if you are having a certain issue in your body, I know this sounds simple, but it works. I had cancer about a year ago, and I wrote a book on it, and I shared my tools that I walk through. So if you are dealing with something, what I did is I sent love to it. When we get frustrated with it, we resist it. But when we send love to it, it heals. It's like a child that comes to you that's sick. Would you say, "Oh my gosh, why are you sick again? Just go to your room"? Or would you say, "Oh, come here, let me give you a hug, let me take your temperature, let me give you some, lay down on the couch, rest"? You're nurturing that child. And that's what you need to do to yourself, is nurture yourself, love yourself, give yourself a hug. And remember, every day say, "I love myself." That's the greatest gift you can give yourself, is to love yourself. And then to see gratitude in everything that is in front of you. Sometimes we have to go through a lot of pain or hurt or tragedies. But when I look at those, I look at it as an awareness of what did it give me? What blessing was there out of it? Because I believe everything is a blessing. And it may not seem it right away, but it will show itself to you in time. So I thank you for joining me again. And I would like to offer you to join me in one of my meditations, or into my distant group sessions, or if you'd like a private healing session, you can go to my website at www.goldenmiracles.com. I also like to remind everybody that I do have a free podcast called Spirit Chat, and Spirit Chat's really a lot of fun. Valerie co-hosts it with me, and Spirit talks through us during those sessions. They give us validations, they give us words that we should say, questions that we should address, and it's full of laughter and love, and the conversations are uplifting. So please join us for that. Until next time, thank you very much for joining in.